Hello everyone, I am Will, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Yep. Last we left off, we kind of ran through Eleum Loyce once again, yep. But this time without the blizzard, because we made friends with Elsana, and we agreed to help her free her king from the old chaos, and so she lifted the blizzard, basically breaking up a whole bunch of ice that was scattered throughout the area, and particularly ice that was blocking up corpses with items on them, all the chests that were frozen, and also opened up new paths for us to take. Yeah, but we basically just kind of ran through Eleum Loyce once again. Yeah, just making sure we grabbed particularly all the chests that became accessible to us. Yeah, there was a few bodies. One of them had, well, yeah. As I ran through, the only notable loot that we kind of picked up were a soul vessel from one of the chests, a sorcerer twin blade. It's a twin blade that you can count as a catalyst for sorceries. Interesting little weapon. Probably won't use it, but we picked up one of those. We picked up a retainer staff. It's a sorcery staff that has no scaling bonuses, so it's particularly good for low-level intelligence. Like if you just meet the bare requirements to wield it, it should be pretty good. Though the downside is that it doesn't have very fast cast speed, so you're going to need the clear bluestone ring to up that cast speed. But we also grabbed the Katarina armor. Yep, so now we have the final piece of the Katarina set. Yep, it was in one of those chests in the little tower just past the entrance to the frigid outskirts. Yeah, past a few rampart golems. There's another Titanite slab. Trying to think of what else that's really noteworthy. We also lifted up an elevator that had a bunch of coffins blocking another chest containing Soul Flash, a sorcery. I haven't used it yet, so I don't quite know what it does. But I believe it's a. I believe it causes almost like a force, Wrath of God type of effect around the player. Just kind of knock enemies away from you. I think that's what it does. I've seen Armor Dennis, I believe, use it back in Force of the Giants. I'm pretty sure he used it there. But I believe that's what it does. I haven't actually used it, so I'll have to confirm that myself. But in that same little area with that chest with the Soul Flash, there was a ladder leading up to another body that had the North Wader set. I think that's how you pronounce it. Set very reminiscent of Sage Frake from Demon Souls. Almost the same armor. It's not exactly the same, but it's heavily inspired by it, I'll say that. Each piece increases spell duration by a few percentages. I think the chest piece is like 10-ish or so. Yeah, so we wear the whole set, it's like another 30, I think. 30% increase in spell duration. Does stack with the Bellowing Dragon Crest. So if you want your spells to last a while, use the North Wader and the Lingering Dragon Crest. So other than that, I think we were now able to access that one little area. There was like outside in the blizzard, there's this one little side area that had like a door, and the only way to open that door was to light the various sconces around it. And while the blizzard's raging, you cannot have a torch out. You could try, but it'll immediately put it away. And so now that the blizzard's gone, we were able to light those sconces, all four, and the door opens up. I'm pretty sure it's meant to represent the way into the kiln of the first flame in Dark Souls 1, where you had to offer up the 4 Lord souls, and the door opens up. Yep. And beyond that door, we encountered 2 Flexile sentries, a whole bunch of retainers. We were able to get the garrison ward? Yeah, the garrison ward key. Yep. That is the key that allows access to the frigid outskirts. I think it also unlocks some other door or two here in Eleum Loyce, but so far it's only unlocked the door to the frigid outskirts. Yeah, so that key was built on that door, and we also picked up the Bone Fist. Yep. It is a fist weapon that allows us to do martial arts. Yep. So this is where the martial arts weapon, whatever moveset originates from here in Dark Souls 2. Yep. So the dry leaf weapons in Elden Ring trace their origins here to Dark Souls 2. Yeah, so I should have. I think I should be able to use it. Hold on. I think I still have it on me. Oh, I think I put it away. No. I'm pretty sure I have the stats to wield it. It's best if you can power stance it with like either a Kestis or another Bone Fist. But we do have that in our back pocket when we want to. I might give it a try, but we'll see. There's that little section. Went back to the rampart area with the formerly invisible NPC type enemies with the ballistas. There was a path opened up to us now that led down into the rampart walls. But before going down, we cleared out that little rampart spot. There's only one more NPC like enemy who doesn't respawn. And at the very end of that little section is a Pharaoh's Lockstone, which opens up a way to a chest containing Durgo's hat. It's a little hat that has the effect of increasing your bow and arrow range. I think it's shot range, I think is what it said. See if I can find it in here. There it is. Yeah, boost range of bows. I think it's just bows. It might include crossbows. I'm not too sure. I never really use them that extreme range, but then after gathering the hat, we went down into the rampart walls itself. Yeah, just kind of fought our way through some soldiers, encountered a rampart golem. I'm trying to think what we picked up down there. We picked up I think the resistance ring +1. I think is what we picked up down there. This one. Yeah, the ring resistance +1. Yep. I think we picked that up all along the way down. At the very bottom, there's a whole bunch of dogs. It also led us to our first Loyce Knights. Yep. Once you talk to Alsana, you agree to help her, you could immediately fight the Ivory King if you wanted to. Again, I don't recommend it, but once she drops a blizzard, you're now able to go back and locate the other Loyce Knights. There are 3 left, or 3 in total that you have to find. They'll help immensely with the Ivory King fight, so I definitely recommend going through and grabbing them. And we found our first one last episode at the bottom of the ramparts. And he was guarded? I would loosely use the word guarded by Castaway Witch Donna. Yep, she was an NPC invader down there. It got a little tricky because she likes to back up towards a rampart golem that's standing outside of the door to the Loyce Knights. So we just kind of had to lure her away, kind of get between her and him. And once that happened, she wasn't too bad. Yeah, she's a spellcaster type enemy, so as long as you get into her face, she shouldn't be too bad. Yep. So we beat her up, got an effigy from her, took care of the golem, and we rescued, air quotes, our first Loyce Knight. We have 2 more to get. Hopefully we can get them both here in this episode. Yep. And then I think that was it. Yeah, so we got the Loyce Knight. We made our way here to the inner wall bonfire. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, just kind of ran through Eleum Loyce again, picking up the items we couldn't get the first time. Unlocked the way to the frigid outskirts. Rescued the Loyce Knight. Made some progress. And that was it. And between episodes, I did some farming. Yep. I farmed the Rampart Golems. Yeah, because once you unlock the way to the frigid outskirts, there is a bonfire just before going into the coffin that goes down. That bonfire allows us to farm the Rampart Golems, because there's one like right outside. Like you spawn at the bonfire, you walk outside the door, and he's like right in front of you. And so that allowed me to farm the Rampart Golems for their armor set, which I'm wearing all but the helmet here. One of my favorite armor sets in the game, personally. I just like how it looks. So I farmed the rest of their equipment. I went down to Shrine of Mana to get Twinkling Titanites, down to Black Gulch to get Titanite chunks, and I also went to Shulva to farm the Imperfects for Dragon Scales, Slabs, and Petrified Dragon Bones. Yep. So with all that farming, I upgraded a whole bunch of armor sets and weapons. I have the Rampart Golem set here to max out. It is a Twinkling Titanite set, so it's not too hard to max out. Maxed out, I think the Fume Sword here. It's a Petrified Dragon Bone. And since slabs are pretty easy to get now, or relatively easy to get, been upgrading armor sets to plus 10s, so... And I did have enough souls to level up, I think, once or twice, and I put those into dexterity. Yeah, because I'm trying to get dexterity to 40, and then I can kind of work on other things that I want. Though I should probably put a few points into strength now that I think about it. But that might be next. So yeah. Between episodes, just farming for items, upgrading materials, upgrading some stuff. And that was it. And today, hopefully we can finish up Eleum Loyce. Well, at least the exploration part. The goal is to get to the other two Loyce Knights, because once we free them, then we can take on the Ivory King. But, although, I have to run through the inner walls here, which could be a little tricky, because now that certain enemies are now free, they can become annoying. Because there are, like, I'm not quite sure what they're called. They're like golems in that, similar to what happened in Drangelic Castle. Like, there's golems there that if you kill enemies nearby, it absorbs the souls, they come to life, and they perform an action. But the one in Eleum Loyce here, similar concept. The enemy dies nearby, it absorbs their souls, and then it comes to life. But this time it comes back as an enemy. Yeah, so it's a pretty tough enemy, to be honest. So we're going to try to avoid that if we can. Although there's probably going to be a few situations where we can't. But we'll do our best to avoid it. And we also have to deal with the little hedgehogs. I don't know what they're called. They're like spiky rat type enemies that have contact damage. Yeah, I'll point them out when we get there. They're annoying at best, but they're not too bad. It's just the contact damage can get crazy if you're not careful. I know there's at least another invasion or two. There's another Covetous Demon. Yeah, they basically have another Covetous Demon down here somewhere. So we'll counter that as well. But yeah, we're just gonna hopefully finish up exploring Eleum Loyce and find the other knights. Yep. So that's the plan. So this episode might be lengthy, because I remember these last two nights being kind of out of the way. But yeah. And our equipment for today. At least starting off, we have the Fume Sword +5. Yep, I do have dark damage on here because, again, I think those golems that come to life, I'm pretty sure they're weakest to dark. Although I could use strike damage, but I want to give the Fume Sword a try. And I think it looks pretty cool with this little armor set. I have my King Shield. I got my Kythus Chime because we'll be using some hexes again today. So different ones from last time, but similar vein. Trying to stick with dark against, because I'm pretty sure the golems again are weak to dark. Although I should probably have some. I think I should have some charcoal pine resin left. Yeah, might use that as well. But gotta get our. Can't forget our Alluring Skulls. So the idea is just dark, dark. And for rings, I got pretty standard rings, Chlorine 3, Ring of Blade, Stone Ring. But this time we're also going with the Ring of Prayer, because I need 60 faith in order to use Dark Dance. I did give it a try between episodes. It is pretty cool, so I am going to use it. Although I'm pretty sure it consumed 5,000-ish souls per cast, so we're going to be burning through some souls. That's why I have a whole bunch in our pockets right now. But yep, this just allows us to use a hex. I have my Rampart Golem, Hood of the Forlorn, Rampart Armor, Rampart Golem, Armor, Gauntlets, and Greaves, or Leggings. Yep. I just like how it looks. Just really cool. Very defense heavy. Elementals could use some work, but we should be mainly have to deal with physical damage going through here, so. Oh yeah. And then we got our gem, charcoal resin, Alluring Skulls, arrows just in case, although I probably won't be needing them. Just in case. I'll have it on just in case. Here are my stats. Again, I think I put 2 points into dexterity. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I love it. I love it. Yep, I have Resonant Soul, Dark Dance, and Resonant Weapon. Yep. It's kind of like a Dark Orb type or hex, but consumes 100 soul per cast. This consumes like 5,000, but it has like a little AoE around the player, and it kind of launches a few dark orbs to seek targets. So it should be okay. Although I have a feeling those orbs are going to hit walls if I use it inside, so we need to be mindful of our surroundings. And Resonant Weapon applies dark to our weapon. Although I think this consumes 2,000 souls when used. So probably going to need some Crimson Waters as well, just to get our spell uses back, but alright. I think I rambled on long enough. Shall we just get to it? Let's get to it. Alright. Take care of you so we get shot in the back. Alright. I'm just how many hits do I take to stagger you? 2 maybe, but I can't tell. Alright. Hopefully we can get our spells back, or souls back by killing enemies. Oop. Yeah. Yeah. Oop. So that's a golem right there, that thing right there. And you can see it just absorbed their souls and he's going to come to life. He's pretty tanky. It looks like he's weakish to dark, so it shouldn't be too bad. Alright. It's not too bad. No. Yeah, there's another one there, and he's, Alright. Over there, sir. I think it was 3 arrows to, yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna let you, Bam. Cool. Good. Yeah, there is a minimum distance that enemies have to be next to this guy to wake him up. Huh. Oh, you can still damage him? So he's not active, but we can still bash him. Okay. I mean, if we can get souls out of it, I'm gonna do it. Yes, he is weakest to strike, or... Oh, he drops something. I think he drops Twinkling Titanite. Yeah, and effigies, okay. Alright, yeah, you strike against them, but we're going to use our Fume Sword. Oh, that is a Mimic. I was about to open it up, but that's a Mimic. You can tell by the latches. Hello, sir. Yeah, I forget he has pretty good range with that spear. Where'd you come from? Whatever. A couple of Twinkling Titanites, Petrified Dragon Bone. We'll take it. A Mimic, so let's put him to sleep. And he has Symbol of Avarice. Yep. I'm pretty sure that was added to the DLC. I'm pretty sure you couldn't get it in the base game. At least not that I remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Symbol of Avarice you could not get in the base game. I think it was added with the DLC. Symbol of Avarice. Headpiece depicting the Avarice creature that mimics treasure chests. Increases soul absorption and item discovery, but steadily drains HP. There's a curious tale of an incorrigibly covetous ancient deity. Clearly it has currency amongst some miscreants. This would have never been crafted. Yep. Pretty heavy, pretty solid defense values, but again, it drains your HP. Although, that is actually pretty slow. We could actually use this to farm. I'll have to be careful. Well, we could use some. Definitely much slower than Dark Souls 1. Yeah, and then tongue is, animated. Alright, that's actually not as bad as I thought it was. That is actually viable for item farming. As long as you keep an eye on your health and all that. But, alright. The Symbol of Avarice. hear the golems. Yeah, this is where Holy Knight Orem invaded. But we don't have to deal with him. Oh, hello. I wish the Alluring Skulls lasted a bit longer, but... Thank you. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. Alright, we need to get one of these guys to move. I think we need these two guys, but we can just bash them, never mind. I was gonna say we need them to come to life in order to move them, but we don't actually. Just need a mace. Although let's put on dark. Although if we kill one, the other one's gonna come to life. So that's gonna be a problem. Alright, we might have to beat all three. Or not. Oh, that was poopy. Unless he had immunity while he's waking up. Oh, he came back, huh? Pretty sure that's a grab. And Twinkling Titanite. Cool. Crimson Water. Get our cast back. Go. Yep, we need to kill them in order to open this chest. We have the Curve Nil Greatsword. This is a very, very interesting weapon. Let me just repair powder real quick. Alright, the Nil Greatsword. 20 strength, so we can two-hand it. Pretty heavy, yeah. 17 units. A great curved sword with an ominous blade. One of the forbidden weapons sealed away by the Ivory King. Formed by rock, tree, and the remains or the remnants of a most particular soul. It is said that the further its wielder travels, the deadlier the blade becomes. The weapon gets additional damage per new game cycle. Yeah, so if you go into New Game Plus, this sword will get bonus damage. New Game Plus gets a bit more. Plus 3 gets a bit more. Up till, I think, New Game Plus 8. I think that's where the cap that it is at. Not Bonfire Aesthetics, no. You have to actually go through New Game. Beat Nassandra, see the credits, Journey to, or whatever. Yep. Yeah, so... So I'm pretty curious to see what it meant by peculiar soul. A rock, tree, and the remnants of a most peculiar soul. It could be rock and tree. It's peculiar soul. Curved, nil. I don't know. Interesting. Yeah, very powerful in new game cycles, but it's a curved greatsword. I don't really care for those, but definitely something worth keeping in your back pocket. Alright, so normally it's that way forward, but we're actually going to go this way, because this was blocked off until the blizzard subsided. So now we're going to go this way. Some more golems and enemies. Alright, just poison to death. Release the golem. So come this way. I'm pretty sure they're immune to poison and bleed and all that. Come on. Let me get another resonant soul. Go. I hear the little soldier dude. And no stamina. Thank you. Actually, it's not a bad idea. Alright. Oh. I think there'd be a fake wall, but nope. Golem was. Alright. I should get rid of you just to check to see if there's a invisible wall behind you. We're going to do that. It's not because I want souls, I want to check to see if there's a fake wall. Nope, no wall. Sad. Oh well. Just checking. And here's our other Loyce knights. Good sir, wake up and be free. The Knight of Eleum Loyce seeks the chaos. Knight number 2, and you got one more. I think the way to him is earlier in the area. Alright, so we're gonna go over here because there was an item over here. We're gonna see what this is. Flame butterflies? Okay. I mean, sure, why not? There's a rampart golem right there. How do we get there? There's the bonfire. Maybe it's through here? This is... okay. I have a feeling I missed something. Because there's this little area. Unless... Yeah, I have a feeling I might have missed something, but... Those are stairs down. Alright, I'm gonna spend a minute or so, because there's this chest up here. Alright, I am confused. Let's continue this way. Actually, we're gonna press forward. Maybe there's another path that opened up earlier. This brings us up here, which is a drop down. Okay, so it doesn't. Alright, I am confused a little bit. There is a section I'm not quite remembering how to get to. Because the other Loyce Knight is over there. He's in that tower right there, right above our heads. And that's where the third one's at. But there's this section down here. I am confuzzled. That is not good. Alright, so I'm probably going to pause the recording real quick just to check to make sure I got everything. Alright, so I'll see you in a bit. Alright, I'm back. I missed this. Yeah, this is the corpse with the 3 flame butterflies, and I thought I pressed the button, but I guess I didn't get it at the right angle. But there is a fake wall right here. Yep, because it drops down here. There's the rampart golem. This should lead us up that way. I think the chest should be that way, but actually let's check where this goes first. Another shieldy dude. Even though he drops a rapier, even though he's using a spear. Yeah, that wall, I was not at the right angle, so it didn't take my interaction. So, yeah, drops us back down there. Yeah, that chest had the Nil Greatsword and the 3 golems around it. We have... There it is, the Fire Clutch Ring. Yep. The 4th and final Clutch Ring. This one increases fire, yep, but reduces physical damage. Yep. So now you can boost your pyromancies up even more. Alright. It's like I knew there had to be a fake wall somewhere, I just wasn't sure where it was. But we walked right past it without being at the right angle. Game. Alright. Yeah, rampart golems. Luring skulls do not work against them. No heal. Oh. Alright. There's another one. I'm not gonna come to you, man. You're gonna have to come to me. Thank you. Already got your helmet, but we'll take it anyway. We can sell it. Alright, Mr. Soldier Dude. So much better without the shield. So much better. I bet we can just probably drop down there, but we're gonna check for more fake walls while we're at it. It's gonna have to be like almost directly on it like this. Otherwise it's not gonna trigger. I don't think there's any other fake walls. At least not that I know of. Yeah, I'm gonna assume they're not. Otherwise we would have seen it, but... Alright. I can assume no. Well, now my curiosity is getting the better of me. I think I already checked this. Yeah, okay, I already did. Alright. Drop down here. Normally there would be a spear guy there, but we took care of him. No wall there. It's the bonfire. Alright. Another chest. Not a mimic. And we have the twin-headed great bow. Great bow I don't use. Great bow made of animal bone. The fine craftsmanship suggests that it originates in Lanafir. The unusual design appears to have ceremonial implication, but many simply be intended to intimidate foes. Yeah. Again, I don't use great bows, so... They're there if you want it. Or it's there if you want it. Alright, I think that's that. I think that's that for that section. Alright. The inner wall's now done. So now we have to do is grab the other Loyce Knights. I'm pretty sure you cannot make that jump. I'm not even going to try. You might be able to make it with the butterfly set, but again, I'm not going to try. I think we want this bonfire. I think it's the closest. I think this one's the closest. Alright, so we're going to have a little trek to get to the last little Loyce Knight. Probably, again, just going to cut the recording here and start back up once we get to the little section where he's at. Alright, I'll see y'all in a bit. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, just had to run through Eleum Loyce again, but here's the entrance. This should take us to the Loyce Knight that's over there. Yeah, but it's kind of a roundabout way to get there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... there should be an invader, there should be a covetous demon, there should be a bunch of stuff down there, but this is the way to get to him. those things right there, those are the hedgehogs I was talking about. Like little frozen rat things. You see the spikes on their backs? Yeah, they're the ones with the contact damage. They also do bleed. So it's, I don't think they're very strong. Luckily they're not too strong, but they can get, if you get overwhelmed by them, they can kill you pretty quickly if you're not careful. But Fruit Ball and Monastery Charms, yep. There should be a few of those guys down here. Yeah, the only saving grace is that, again, they're not very strong, so... I think they're susceptible to alluring skulls, if I'm not mistaken, but... I can see one right there. And here's a little roly-poly. Yeah, you see it took damage just by sitting next to him. There is a shade here. Cell Sword Luet. Don't need them, but he's there if we need it. Twilight Herbs. Don't mind if I do. There should be some more of those little frozen hedgehogs down here. Yeah. Yeah, you can see just the contact damage alone. It's just... It's not constant. It comes in chunks, so... Alright, we should be invaded here in a moment. Hexer Nikolai. Pretty sure you can get poisoned. That's Tranquil Walk of Peace, which is okay, I guess. Dark Dance. I mean, pretty straightforward. Oh, I thought you were gonna do I thought you could do like that. There you go. Hexer Nikolai. Gee. Yep, you can backstab the tree things. I know, it's kind of odd. I'm pretty sure he was buffed by, like, Release Magic or something. Or Unleash Magic, I think it's called. Alright, Hexer Nikolai. Not too bad. They're basically like an astrologer guy in the Iron Passage. Think of it like that. He'll cast Tranquil Walk of Peace. He'll cast, Lightning Spear, you saw him do Dark Dance, and all that stuff. I thought I was going to do a thrust, but oh well. Old Growth Bomb, okay. Oh. Okay, so there's more of you guys. Alright. That sounds like some more of those hedgehog things. That was pretty quick. Yeah, I think it's unleash magic right there. So now he's gonna do a bit more damage. Alright, he wasn't that bad. Alright. Should be a hedgehog over here. Yep. Ooh. Couple of amber herbs, don't mind if I do. There's another one. Oh, you guys dropped effigies. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, this gate requires a lever to open. Clear out the enemies. Yeah, this gate requires a lever to open, which is up there by that one tree enemy that we bow and arrowed. Now from the side. Cool. So ladder it is. Should probably use another repair powder. And the fume sword doesn't last quite as long as I hoped. It's an odd chest. But witch tree branch, which we already got from the pit, I believe. Yep, but those enemies will drop it as well. Alright. No latches. We have a couple of bolt stones, don't mind if I do. Yep, nothing down here. I think this all just leads to the same spot, just an open area for you to run around in. Check out what's over here first. Some magic stones, don't mind if I do. Actually, I don't want to put that on the hotbar. Alright. Let's go there and go here. We're going to go in here first. Aha! Bonfire! And broken stairs, so this is a dead end. But we found bonfire. That's all we needed. Alright. Not going to rest. Don't want to respawn the enemies. Radiant gem. And we should come upon a friend. Well, not really a friend, but an old acquaintance. Yep. He's white, he waves at us, he doesn't attack. However, don't be fooled. He is hostile. He's actually... This is the one thing I like about Dark Souls 2, is that they're NPC, like invaders, or NPCs in general, they have pretty interesting AI. Yeah, so he's not going to do anything until we get to the lever to open up the gate, at which point he will try and backstab us. But if you paid attention to the Maldron the Assassin invader in the Broom Tower, this is him. This is Maldron the Assassin. And you can tell he's an enemy because Almighty Lock-On says he's an enemy. Yep. Even though he's doing gestures and all that, he is an enemy. Yep. The fuck? Sorry, that What? That's bullshit. I'm almost positive we were not behind him, or he was not behind us. I call it utter BS on that. There was, nah, that's bullshit. That's straight up bullshit. I'm just going to spear. Let's go lightning. Yeah, that was bullshit. I'm not gonna lie, that was complete bullshit. I don't know what to say about that. Ah, man. I don't want to, but we can. Adjust your robes. Yes, 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 I know. He's gonna run towards the enemies, because that's what he does. Way. Alright, come here, you breaker of rules. You broke the rules. You can't backstab in front of people. And now he just disappeared. No, he didn't disappear. He probably used a silver talisman. But, oh, Maldron. He's probably fell down here somewhere. There he is. Yeah, technically he's not an invader. He's just a hostile NPC. Yeah, so a tree of giants not gonna work. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like he's already here. He's an enemy. He's not an invader. The seed of the giant only works on invaders. Alright, Maldron. Yeah, he gets so much poise from his lance. That's the only downside. It's gets so much poise. And he's going to run towards the enemy, which is a covetous demon of enemies. But we'll take it nice and slow. Nice and slow. Yeah, there he is. He's right there. You see Mr. Job just barely make out the covetous demon right there. I wish he was an invader, but oh well. Yeah, it's going to be one of those fights. Alright. We're gonna have to burst down Covetous Demon. Yeah, we'll stick with our sword. Alright. Let you get Mr. Jabba the Hutt to come over here. Come on. Roly-poly. Nope. That's an odd little interaction there. Go. Alright, Maldron, it's just you and me. We got the Ivory Warrior Ring. Yeah, he's just gonna sit over there. Attacks greatly reduce enemy stamina. Yep. Ring of the Guardians of Eleum Loyce. Attacks greatly reduce enemy stamina. Eleum Loyce existed to subdue the raging flame. But when the ivory gates were flung open, the land grew cold and lifeless. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, basically, it greatly reduces enemy stamina particularly when they block. So it allows you to break guards easier. But alright, so since Maldron's going to sit over there, we'll prep ourselves. We'll go lightning. Alright. Keep our jester ropes just so he doesn't bullshit us again. You can one-shot us, but we can't do that to you, huh? Oops, it didn't want to do that. Stamina back. Haha, just your robes. I was hoping to parry him, but oh well. Ah, man. Yes, I know you can poise through attacks, but so can I. That guy was really annoying. Yeah. He wouldn't be so bad if he didn't get so much extra poise when he's swinging his weapon. And two-handing Great Lances, whew, they attack pretty quickly, so... Alright. I hate him. I mean, he wouldn't be so bad, but... Again, his weapon just gives him so much freaking poise when you attack. Alright. Dried roots. Yep. Maldron the Assassin. Large club +8. Some twinkling titanites. Some more dried roots. Crimson water. Smooth silky stone. Alright. Some more of those little hedgehogs. The bone wheel skeletons of Dark Souls 2, those things. Jeez. Alright. It should eventually lead us out. Yeah, there. I think that's the way forward. I just want to check what's over here. Ah, shortcut door. Yep, a shortcut back here. Alright. And here's a little open area with a bunch of those little golems. Yep. Oh, that's actually not a bad idea. Forlorn. But we have the Seed of the Giant active, so he's going to get attacked. Well. Oop, I had my bow out. Try and get out here to get the enemies on him, but I don't know how well it's going to work. I think we just might have aggroed, yeah. Those hedgehogs, it was them. They're the ones that got killed me, yeah. They're the bone wheel skeletons of Dark Souls 2. Yep, I will say that. Alright, I was trying to get the enemies to attack the Forlorn, but it didn't quite work, but... Oh well, oh well. C'est la vie. But luckily we got the shortcut done, so that's fine. Yes. No. Probably best to use a spear against these guys. probably best to use a spear, just so we can keep our distance from them. Okay. If it wasn't for the Forlorn, it would be okay, but eh. Alright. Just draw them in one at a time. One at a time. Should be one more right there. Nope, there's another one, never mind. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can kill him in 2 hits, so it's not that bad. Get away from the golem. No, 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 no. Get over here. Get over here. No. That's fine. You should be far enough away. Yeah, good. Alright. Thank you. Yeah, we're just gonna leave these other guys alone. There's no point in fighting them. A couple of charcoal pine resin. Oh, hello. Get away from the golem. Thank you. Ah, you're alive. Stamina back. Twinkling Titanites, a Ferrous Lockstone, we'll take it. Should be elevator up, so now we can get to the other Loyce Knights. It's up that way. That's the bridge. Should be some more of those hedgehogs up here as well, so we gotta be careful. Yep, there they are. Do alluring skulls work against you? I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Which is kind of odd. You'd think Luring Skulls would work against them, but nope, it did not seem like it. They don't work against you. We got clipped. Not what I wanted. Yep. Alright. Was not expecting to aggro them both. But yeah, I see you. Come on. Vine Balm. Rampart Golem. These should be pretty easy to deal with. Yeah, there's all that follow-up. I didn't have enough stamina. Thank you. Alright, this should be our final Loyce night. Just checking for any other items. I don't think there's anything else up here. That's a pretty cool vantage point. So the cathedral over there. Oh. All right, Mr. Knight. I need you. Let's go. A Knight of Eleum Loyce seeks the chaos. That's our third and final Loyce Knight we had to find. Yep. And to get back, well, you just gotta play snowballing. Yep. This now connects us back to where we started. There should be a few items. I think I can see some items over here, but Hazel Staff, a couple of Radiant Life Gems, and cracked Red Eye Orbs. Hazel's Staff. Staff of Azel, Sage of Ferosa. Rather roughly crafted, but imbued with the magic of Azel. greatly intensifies spells, but also drastically reduces spell usages. The staff, unfit for the inexperienced, is evident of Sage Angel's prowess. Okay. Very slow cast speed, like 30. Oof. But I wonder what it means by greatly intensifies spells. Usually that means it has pretty high spell or magic adjust. But I wonder if it's an actual percentage increase. Yeah. Cool looking staff, yeah, that's for sure. Although I'm not quite sure about the reduces the spell usage part though, but it's a cool looking staff. It was Azazel, the guy who was wearing the North Waiter set that we picked up earlier? Maybe. Could be. It could be. But, yep. Alright. That is it for Eleum and Loyce. Now all we have left to do is the Frigid Outskirts and the Ivory King. Let's feather our way out of here. What's our time? To be perfectly honest, the Ivory King is going to be a pain. Let me level up. I mean, we can give it a try. I mean, we can go fight him, but I mean, it's definitely going to take me a couple of tries. Because it's just getting to the actual boss itself is kind of like a little melee fight. So I don't know how well that's going to turn out. Can always use more health, but we'll boost that first. I mean, yeah, sure, we'll fight the Ivory King. I'm game. I'm game. So I'll put in my first attempt, and I'll probably skip to my, well, final attempt, I guess. It will take me more than one attempt, just because again, you have to fight Loyce Knights. They are a real pain. I don't know how well that's going to help us out. That's not going to help us all. I don't think any of these spells are going to help. Well, they might, but I'll put Resident Soul on game. And I mean, their main enemy is going to be the Charred Loyce Knights until we get to the Ivory King himself. I don't really know what to put here. Resident Flesh increases our HP by a bit, but it only lasts so long and it doesn't heal the amount it gains. I'm pretty sure the Ivory King's resistant to fire and magic. Lightning is going to be your best bet. Actually, I guess we're just going to chuck some lightning at them fools. Denial? We could probably use Denial, yeah, we'll use Denial. Denial when the Ivory King spawns. That's probably a good idea. Alright, Stone Ring might help against the Loyce Knights, it won't help against the Ivory King himself. Loyce Knights pack a wallop, and some of them use fire. Some of them are pyromancers, and they like using fire. We should put this in our I should probably use a different spear. That put us heavy load. I don't want to do that. Strike is the way to go. They are weakest to strike, but having the reach is what I really like. Alright, we'll do that. Alright, I think we're good. Yeah. Alright, we'll attempt the Ivory King. Here's a summon sign. It's Lucatiel of Mira. Which again, I believe puts us in the past? I don't know, it's kind of weird, because Lucatiel in our time is basically hollowed out of her mind. She's done for, but she's here as a summon. Either as a convenience for gameplay's sake, or because we're in the past. But so we could summon Lucatiel if we want. We're not going to. We also have Twiggy Shy or Shay or She. I don't know how you pronounce it. An archer type. You might be more useful. You actually might be useful. You have anything else?
Many of Eleum Loyce's faith, but not one of them returned. The king's dutiful subject, but it was too. The knights
follow your word. Okay. So I guess the last line was new. Yeah. The knights reborn will follow your word. Yep. Alright. Let me... we're going to try the axe. Just for the stance. We have Loyce Knights. There's only 4. We rescued 3 of them. So these guys will help us fight the charred Loyce Knights down below. Yeah, so the Ivory King is 2-phase. Well, not really 2 phases, but when you first land in the past the Ball's Fall, you'll land into the old Chaos. Yep, and then you're going to fight melee. Yeah, it's just going to be a big brawl between us, our Loyce Knights buddies, and against a whole bunch of charred Loyce Knights who will constantly respawn. Yeah, but at some point, these guys, 3 of them will kind of like run into where the Loyce Knights are spawning from, seal up the entrance to that. Yep. And at that point, the Ivory King will make his appearance. One of these knights will probably survive to help us out with the Ivory King, but he won't last very long against the king himself. Yeah. Yep. The Ivory King, he's a pretty straightforward fight. His weapon's in the left hand. He's left-handed. So his weapon's in the other hand, so you're dodging, probably have to go to the right. I think you have to dodge to the right to avoid most of his attacks. He can buff up his weapon, or he will buff up his weapon, which will apply magic damage and greatly increase his weapon's reach. Yeah, so once he does that, it becomes a lot harder. But and he also has a pretty suspiciously large grab hitbox, so yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much a straight up another knight type fight. And just dodge, pick your attack windows. Yep. I'm thinking I want to. Well, no, it should be fine. It should be fine. What? Put on repair powder just in case. I have a feeling we might need it after fighting all the charred Loyce Knights, but yeah. Yep, the Loyce Knights can drop their armor sets. They can also drop what's called Loyce Souls, which we do need in order to eventually talk to Alsana above us, but yep. This will take more than one attempt, I almost guarantee it. Just because of the melee before the Ivory King. That fight alone will probably drain our Estus usage, but hopefully Denial will come in handy, but we'll see. Alright. Shall we get this over with? Yeah, let's get this over with. Let me just actually use that should be good. Alright. Here we go. Superhero landing. Superhero landing. Boom. The old chaos. Here come the charred Loyce Knights. Yeah, they're pretty tanky. Oh, I'm heavy? How am I heavy? Well, I've got to take care of this ASAP. Alright. They can drop their armor sets. I might change my weapon here real quick. I'm just testing right now, see what works. Right, so it's a 2-hit stagger. And since our Loyce buddies we're gonna we're just gonna get overwhelmed here, so we just gotta pick our fights. He blocked, so the charred Loyce Knights, they're on a timer, so they will spawn after a certain amount of time. I thought I could get out of the animation. Yeah, we're just gonna get overwhelmed. You gotta have to kill them fast in order to get out of here. Yeah. You're basically just gonna have to brute force this first part. We're gonna die a lot here, just because of the. We're just gonna get overwhelmed. I think the spear was a good choice. I think it was. All right. All right. So I will probably just cut out to our winning attempt, just to avoid ballooning this episode into sheer quantity, but yeah, I was not ready to be overloaded all of a sudden. Why was our the axe? Yeah, okay. I think you can poison the charred Loyce Knights, but Alright, buddies. Let's do this again. But, yeah. Alright. We just gotta... two-handed breaks their poise, we're just going to do this. It just comes down to stamina management now. Alright, buddies, don't go too far. The fact you can't backstab these guys kind of sucks. 3-piece. Huh. I thought you were going to target our buddy here. Let's grab this. There's a Loyce soul. We need like 50 of those. Alright. That was a lot better. Right, here comes Mr. Ivory King himself. I think the Charred Loyce Knights will continue to spawn. Burnt Ivory King. Oh, I thought I blocked. When I got up behind us. Yeah. Gonna have to get him real quick. Need to kill that choice, the Loyce Knight. Or we're probably gonna get one tapped by the king. Gonna buff up, take his time to kill him. Yeah. Which is fine, I mean. Let's top off. He's gonna focus on him, I bet. Get over here. Poise break. He hangs up in the air pretty long for this little jump attack. I think if you dodge left, you should be fine. For the most part, you should be fine, I should say. Alright, that's fine, that's fine. Get our stamina back. That's a grab. That's an AoE. Well, we need to repair our weapon here in a moment. Ow. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Oh, that was too soon. Ah, it's not what I wanted. Double chug. That's good. he likes to hang time. No, sir. Soul of the Burnt Ivory King. Alright, I honestly thought I was going to take more attempts than that. Mainly because of the first part, where you fall down here and you get basically the brawl with the charred Loyce Knights. That I believed was going to take me several attempts just to kind of figure out what to do, but luckily, two-handing our spear with a stone ring, our ones will flinch the Loyce Knights. That alone made the first section extremely doable. Yeah, and also just kind of sit back in the corner and hang out with our knights. Yeah, but yeah, but just that one thing alone just made this fight much easier. Yeah, which I was actually kind of surprised. The charred Loyce Knights, they stopped spawning pretty quickly compared to last time. I mean, our first attempt, there was like 8 or so of them on the field near the end there, but now it was like it went by pretty quickly. It was actually kind of surprising. But although the Ivory King did show up with one of the portals still active, which meant a charred Loyce Knight spawned, and it was a pyromancer one which sit back and spams pyromancies at us, so definitely had to take care of him as soon as we could. But yeah, the Burnt Ivory King, yep, he's not bad. He's actually a pretty fair fight. Well, yeah, he's a fair fight, I'd say. Pretty tough, yeah. He does buff his weapon, and it doesn't last. It will fade away, as we saw. But while buffed, it does magic damage, increases his weapon's reach. Yep. And since his weapon's in his left hand, dodge to the left. If you dodge to the left, he should be okay for the most part. He definitely likes to hang in the air for a second or two while he's doing his little jump attacks. But he does throw in some delayed swings here and there, but for the most part, he's a pretty fun fight. Yep. Spear was the way to go, I will say that. That additional reach, and we could have saved our buddy. We could have if we just, was a bit more proactive, but yeah, almost through the fight here. Yeah, some of my button inputs didn't quite do the way I wanted to do. Yeah, I meant to dodge the one time, but it ended up, for whatever reason, we started sprinting backwards or something. It was almost through the fight there. But whew, luckily we played it safe, patient, look for openings to heal. He will respond to you healing. Yep. If you try to drink an Estus or something, he will either sprint into your face to swing at you or do his jump attack. So just be mindful of that. All in all, wasn't as bad as I was expecting. And for our troubles, we got his soul. Yep, Soul of the Ivory King. Yep, it is a big soul like the Rotten and the old Iron King. Yep. Soul of the Ivory King of Eleum Loyce. The proud Ivory King was ever merciful and devoted himself to the protection of his great land until he was devoured by the flames of chaos. The wondrous soul of this great king can be used to acquire numerous souls or to create something of great worth. Yep. I'm pretty sure you can get his sword out of it. I think it's just his sword. Yep. Alright. Burnt Ivory King. Yep, this is the old chaos. Yep, you can see by the roots and everything. It's basically Los Isleth. and all the lava and all that stuff. Yeah, it's supposed to reminiscent upon, Gwyn's little campaign against the demons, where some of his knights were forever charred by the, well, I think it's charred by the flames of chaos, but it might have been him leaking the kiln, but yeah, his knights came back blackened from their fights with the chaos, and some of his knights were still silver and all that stuff. So we led silver knights against the black knights. Alright, let me grab the crown of the Ivory King, and then we can check out the Loyce soul and the other stuff. Crown of the Ivory King. A faint heat lingers in the ancient crown. Yep. Crown of the Ivory King, who once ruled this land. Far to the north, the king built a great cathedral to appease the raging flame. But when he sensed the degradation of his soul, he left without a word, leaving everything to Alsana, who had, unbeknownst, found a place at his side. But these were events of long ago, and today no one even remembers the king's name. Yep. He built a great cathedral to appease the raging flame. Yep. I guess he used his soul to kind of keep the raging flame under control, but basically he sensed his time was coming up and he left without a word. We got a Loyce soul. We need 50 of these in order to get to Alsana and get her soul. Yeah, so we're gonna. So once we get back up top, we can actually drop that back down here again, and the Loyce Knights, the charred Loyce Knights, will continue to spawn. They are on a timer, and they will eventually kind of slow to a crawl, but now that I have a way to actually, fight them effectively, they shouldn't be too bad to get. Soul of the Knights of Loyce. The Knights of Loyce were taken by chaos and lost all sense of purpose and being. The few woeful souls that trudged back home were guided by some faint vestige of self. This soul is pure sorrow, and only Asana can put it to rest. It does not yield souls, but perhaps... So now if we go up, this will take us back up top, and we should be able to have some more dialogue with Alsana. Back at the Grand Cathedral. Alright, Alsana, we put your king to rest.
You've granted my one wish. Now, I have no regrets. I was born amidst the dark. Long ago, in the depths of the abyss, my father perished. The dark shattered into tiny pieces, one of which was me. How frightened I was. A frail thing, born from but a splinter of dark. I felt that I might simply disappear. I am, in fact, the incarnation of my father's fears. I saw that the king of this land was strong. I sought him only to sustain myself, to smother my fears. Now, I realize that he may have known all along. I was born of fear, and my Lord provided comfort. And so, here I remain, heiress to my Lord's wishes, watching over chaos. Until the end of time.
Yep, she confirmed it herself. Yep. She's a fragment of dark, where her father perished in the abyss. Yep. It's Manus. Manus is the father of the abyss, and when we defeated him in Dark Souls 1, his soul splintered. Yep. Creating many, many fragments of dark. Yep. And Alsana was one of them, harboring the emotion of fear? Or at least representing the aspect of fear. Yep. Her Manus' fears, to be exact. Yeah, so she came here to Eleum Loyce to find shelter, and her king gave her comfort. And apparently, the Ivory King knew all along what she was, but still comforted her anyway. Yeah. The Ivory King he's probably one of the best kings in the Dark Souls 2, anyway. Yeah. Which means that, well, since she's a fragment of dark, that means Elena, or Alana, and Nashandra, Nadalia, they're all fragments of Manus. Probably encompassing an aspect of him, like an emotion of sorts, or like Nashandra's the emotion of want, desire, greed. Elena, I'm not quite sure. I think it might be wrath. I think it was hatred or wrath. Nadalia, I'm not too sure. Maybe love, for all I know. But, yeah. And Alsana is fear.
The knights of Eleum Loyce were swallowed by the chaos, where their souls still remain. I pray for their deliverance.
Yep. This basically means that we can go back down there, fight those charred Loyce knights, gather up the Loyce souls, and she'll reward us for it. Yep. I think you get the Loyce armor set. I think it's, I don't quite know what the exact number, but I think once you get 35 Loyce souls in total, she'll give you the full armor set. And I think when you get 50, you'll be able to actually go up there and talk to Alsana directly. Yeah, so the more Loyce souls you gather, she will break apart these branches on either side of the stairs, allowing you to progress upwards. So that's what I'm going to be doing between episodes, gathering up Loyce souls in order to get the armor set, because it is a nice armor set. I do like, particularly the gauntlets and the greaves are what I like the most about it. But anything else?
The knights of Eleum, whether I pray.
All right. You know what? And I think all I have to do left in the Ivory King DLC is the Frigid Outskirts. Oh boy, I'm not looking forward to that, but yep. Oh, we can also let me check to make sure what we can get from the Ivory King soul. Pretty sure you can get his armor set as well. I think. I don't know if we can get it just yet. Excuse me. Let me go to Ornifex first. I'm pretty sure you can get his weapon. You can get the Ivory King's weapon from his soul. think we can get his armor set from the Majula, though I don't think we can get it just yet. I think there's a requirement to get it.
Hello?
Yes, I brought you wondrous souls. Let's reinforce trade. Let's see, what do I see? Ava. Here it is. Ivory King, Ultra Greatsword. Yep, that's the only thing, yep. Ultra Greatsword of the Ivory King of Loyce. Wields both hands to realize its full strength. Yep. It is said that the Ivory King was once the highest ranking knight in his home of Ferosa, famed for its god of war. After taking his crown, they say he was the first to swing his sword in time of need, be it for his homeland or his people. He was a knight of Ferosa, huh? Could Loyce be like the capital of Ferosa, maybe? Maybe. Because I think the armor set, the Ferosa armor set, I think says that the people of Ferosa have basically become wanderers after losing their... let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure it said something about them becoming wanderers. Yeah, Lion Knights worship, but their legacy was cut short with the fall of Ferosa. I thought it said something about that. There might be an item somewhere that said they became wanderers or something like that, but now I am curious. Yeah, the territory of Ferosa became lawless after the kingdom fell to war, and citizens became bandits and scattered to other lands. Yep. So I'm guessing... No, it doesn't really make sense. Well, maybe, but I don't know. Part of me wants to believe Loyce is probably like the capital of Ferosa, and when the Ivory King, sacrificed himself to calm down the chaos, he left with that power vacuum and caused like a civil war. Yep. That's my guess, anyway. That's my guess. But, yep. So we can get a sword from Horn Effects. Let me just hit up Strayed real quick. I don't think you can get anything from Strayed. Let me just check.
Well, very funny.
Nope, nothing here. Alright. So all you can get is his weapon. Alright.
Feeble, that's all.
I believe we might be able to get his armor set in from Maldron or however you might pronounce his name. The armor guy here. I think we can. There might be another condition for it to show up, but...
You need armor?
Yeah, I think there might be another condition.
Are you sure?
So let me double check.
You?
Yeah, okay. I think there might be another condition for it.
Lively.
But we can eventually get his armor set. I think we might need to get Asana's soul first before the armor set becomes available. Just one more check just to make sure.
Itzy, why, just be...
Yeah, okay. Alright, yeah, I think we need to get Alsana's soul before we get the Ivory King's armor set. Alright. You know what? Let me go back up here. And with that, we'll call it an episode. Yep. We basically finished up Eleum Loyce. Yep. Started off at the inner wall bonfires, kind of progressed through. Yep. Since the blizzard was no longer there, the chests that were once inaccessible to us now became accessible. So now we just kind of fought through some enemies, including the new golem type enemies, the ones that are inactive until they absorb an enemy's soul. Very similar to the effects up in Drangelic Castle, where you kill enemies nearby, the golems absorb the souls, they come to life to perform an action. Yeah. But the one in Eleum Loyce, they become active as an enemy. Yeah. You can still kill them even though they're not active, you still get souls out of it, but there was a mimic containing the symbol of avarice, which I might utilize down in order to get the Loyce souls. Probably have that on in order to get that in the old chaos. Yep. And I'm pretty sure it's new to the DLC. I'm pretty sure it's not in the base game anywhere, at least not that I'm aware of. So we got that. I think the other chest had Twinkling Titanite, Petrified Dragon Bone. I think the other chest had like Twilight Herbs. Yep. Made our way upstairs, took care of the 3 golems surrounding a chest. That chest containing the curved Nil Greatsword. Yep, a curved greatsword that gets additional attack power for every new game cycle you've progressed to. Yep. So I think it caps out at new game plus 8. Yeah, so it is a very good sword if you plan on going pretty far in the new game cycles. Bonfire settings don't count. You have to actually go through new game, get the prompt in order to beat the final boss, see the cutscene, get the prompt saying you want to continue to Journey 2 or New Game Plus or whatever. Yeah, you need to do that in order for it to get the damage boost. I'm trying to remember what else we gathered in that little inner wall area. Up the stairs, flame butterflies, found our second Loyce Knight. Yep, found a second one to help us fight the Ivory King. Backtrack a bit, eventually found a fake wall, which dropped us down into a little section containing rampart golems, more soldiers. Eventually led us to the twin-headed great bow, which I don't plan on using because I don't care for them. Also found the fire clutch ring, in case we ever want to do extra damage with our fire attacks. That dropped us back down to the inner wall bonfire, at which point we ran back through Eleum Loyce to kind of the first little side area, I would say. Yeah, by the big broken bridge, there's a elevator that was previously blocked by the blizzard. Yep, took that down to probably the second worst area in Eleum Loyce, probably, or in the Ivory Crown DLC. Yeah, mainly because of the hedgehogs. Yeah, the little rats with the spikes on their back. They're basically the bone meal skeletons of Dark Souls 2. Yeah, they have contact damage. They do like a little roly-poly attack, which just kind of continues even if you block. But the only saving grace is that they die in 2 hits. Yeah, definitely recommend using a spear against them. But yeah, so we just kind of dealt through them. Picked up some more odds and ends. I'm trying to think what else was down there. We were eventually invaded by Hexer Nikolai, I think is how you pronounce it. He's not too bad. He's basically a spellcaster, similar to the astrologers in the Iron Passage. Yeah. As long as you get into his face, slowly poke at him, and he should die pretty quickly. Took care of some witch tree enemies, the little tree magic people, who did not hit as hard as I thought. I thought they would hit harder than that, but I guess we got lucky, I guess. But or fortunate, I would say. Some more random items, up a ladder, a chest containing... what was it? I think it might have just been wilted herbs. I think it just might have been wilted herbs, but found another bonfire in that little lower section. Up the stairs where we encountered Maldron the Assassin. Yeah, this time he was not an invader, which kind of unexpected, I would say, but yeah, you can tell he's an enemy because the almighty lock-on locks on. Yeah, friendly NPCs you're not able to lock on to friendly NPCs. So if you can lock on to him, he's an enemy. Yeah. So we got ready for a fight, took a couple swings, and the game bullshitted us. I have no way to explain it. I'll look back at the footage, but I'm almost positive we were face to face and he somehow backstabbed us. Like, really? Like, how? How? I'm almost positive he was in front of us when he somehow backstabbed us. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, so we respawned, slapped on the Jester robes, because the Jester robes prevent the backstabs. Yeah, so he can't backstab us. And then we just kind of upstairs, poked at him a few times. He decided to run away. Yeah, he's Maldron the Assassin. He demonstrates one of the things I like about Dark Souls 2 is the hostile NPC AI is pretty unique, I would say. Yeah, the other Dark Souls games don't quite do what Dark Souls 2 does in that little aspect. Yeah, Maldron the Assassin is a prime example. He'll stand and fight up to a bit, and then he'll run away. Like, he will run away into the enemies to heal up and whatever, but... And that little interaction in Eleum Loyce, where he doesn't attack immediately. He won't attack. He's actually kind of programmed to attack you as you try to open up the gate. So he'll follow you to the gate, to the lever to open up the gate, and if you try to open it up, that's when he'll backstab you. So, yeah, I learned that one the hard way. But if you were paying attention in the Broom Tower where he invades, he basically has the same equipment. So if you paid attention, you kind of put two and two together saying, oh, he's Maldron the Assassin. So we came back. Second time around, we kind of try to fight him. Yeah, he has the Great Lance, which gives him extra poise when he's attacking, and it attacks pretty quickly. Yeah, so every time we tried to attack, we ended up just exchanging blows, which didn't really help. Yeah, but yeah, so we both just kind of sat there, chipped away at each other. I did open up the gates, and again, once his health lowers a bit, he'll continue running further down. So we just kind of followed him down, where it was a drop down where we encountered another covetous demon. Yeah. Oddly enough, but yeah. We were luckily we aggroed the demon, but not Maldron. He kind of sat in his little corner. Yeah, so we just continued to fight the demon, killed it. It drops the. It was a ring. What's the ring? The Ivory Warrior Ring. Yep, the ring that does extra stamina damage when enemies block. Yeah. Yeah. So we So after dealing with the demon, picking up that ring, we fought Maldron the Assassin, and it was an annoying fight, I'll say the least. Mainly because his stupid lance gives him extra poise. Yeah. The bigger the weapon, the more poise you get when you attack, so... It's whatever, man, it's whatever, but... We did eventually kill him. He doesn't drop anything, but... We did it for the purpose, yeah. So we looted the little area. I think it was just a bunch of, like, random items. We got crimson water, I think, soul item here. I don't think there's anything else of note in that little section. Yep. We found a shortcut that led us back to the courtyard where we were invaded by Nikolai. Continued on to the next little section with some more hedgehogs and ivory golems, I'll just call them. And then we were invaded by the Forlorn. Yep. And at that point I had the Tree of a Giant active, so I kind of goofed. Yeah, I should have just... the enemies did aggro onto the Forlorn. They did hit him a few times, but they were leashed by the entrance of the little cave I was at, so the smart move was to back off and fight Forlorn by himself, but I didn't. Yeah, the enemies will aggro onto us as well, so I was hoping to get them to pay attention to the Forlorn, but it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it or expected, but yeah, so we got overwhelmed, we died. Yeah, but I will say I died to the hedgehogs, not the Forlorn. Yep, so we ran back to the little section, cleared out the hedgehogs, pulled them one at a time. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we pull the hedgehogs one at a time, use our bow and arrow, clear out the active golems, picked up charcoal pine resins, ferrous lockstone, and that led us to an elevator that went up. This is the last section just before the final Loyce night. Some more hedgehogs, some more minor ice golems. Yep. As well as a rampart golem. Yep. And after clearing them all out, we were finally able to free or gather the last of the Loyce Knights. Yep. And after that, we parried a snowball down the chute, crushing some minor ice golems. Ran across the bridge, picked up Azel's staff. A pretty interesting staff, I'll say. Yeah, apparently it boosts spell damage while reducing spell usage. I'm pretty sure its cast speed is pretty small, yeah. 30 cast speed, yeah. So you might be able to get a spell off before getting hits, but... I think there's some radiant gems and cracked red eye orbs in that little section as well. Yep. And then... after that, we prepared for our fight with the Ivory King. Yep. Switched over to Lightning, Denial. I think I started off with the Crescent Axe, but I ended up going over to the Lightning Wing Spear just because, quick attack, reliable, keeps enemies out of reach. Yeah. So we dropped down with our Loyce Knights buddies into the old chaos. Yep. Had a little trouble. We were overloaded there for a moment because with the Crescent Axe and with the ring, the spelling ring, put us at over 70%, which is the threshold for heavy load. Yeah, so kind of panicked there. Yeah, so basically that first fight was just me trying to figure out which weapon to use. Ended up going with the wing spear. Yep. Yeah, but we just ended up getting overwhelmed. Yeah, we just got overwhelmed by the charred Loyce Knights. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure they're on a timer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they spawn at set intervals. If you kill them quick enough, you should be able to at least slow down the spawning. But yeah, our first attempt, we just got overwhelmed. So we came back with our spear in hand, our dispelling ring on. Yep. Dropped it back down to the old chaos, and we figured out that two-handing our spear with a stone ring will flinch the charred Loyce Knights in one hit. So that made the fight much easier. Yep. And we also kind of sat back, hanged out with our knight buddies. Yep. Just kind of picked off charred Loyce Knights when they came at us. And we survived the first section in order for the Burnt Ivory King to show himself. Yep. His little warp gate appeared. He stepped forth. Yep. And then we took on the Burnt Ivory King. Yep. Who's actually, I like his fight. He's definitely a top 3 fight for me. Yeah. Him, Surlon, I want to say Fume Knight, but Fume Knight's just a bit much in my opinion. But anyway, yeah. But the Burnt Ivory King, he's a good fight. I did like it. Yeah, I did like it. He has some delayed attacks, which can get me. You can buff up his weapon, which gives him magic damage, as well as increases his weapon's reach. So you've got to be mindful of that. We were lucky enough to have one of the Loyce Knights. Well, 2 of them stuck around, which means one of the portals that the charred Loyce Knights spawned from was still open. So when the Burnt Ivory King actually started fighting, another Loyce Knight spawned. Yeah, this one had a pyromancy, so he was attacking us from range. So it was like we had to get rid of him. Like, so we had to dodge the king's attacks while dealing with the other charred Loyce Knight. Yeah, but finally one of our Loyce Knights closed down the portal, leaving us, another Loyce Knight, or allied Loyce Knight, leaving an allied Loyce Knight, us, versus the Burnt Ivory King. Yep. And lucky our little ally buddy had, I think he was mostly maxed health, so he lasted pretty long to that fight. And if you can't get the Ivory King's attention, the Loyce Knight will die pretty quickly to the Ivory King. But if you can get the Ivory King's attention, that Loyce Knight will last pretty long, or can last a while in our case. Yeah, but he did allow us to get the Ivory King's health down to, I would say, about half before our final Loyce Knight died. But yeah, but at that point, we just had to weave between the King's attack, poke him when we could, back off where we had to. We did cast Denial while he was spawning in, so we had that just in case. But luckily, it didn't pop, or didn't activate. So it came close. We came close to activating Denial, but that was more on my end because I messed up my buttons. Yeah. At one point I meant to dodge, but I ended up holding the button too long, and it put it as a sprint. So that's kind of what happened. Yeah, I do that. Unfortunately, I do that pretty often, or often enough, I'll say. But we did recover from that. We did beat up the Ivory King. We did get his soul. We also got the crown of the Ivory King. We also picked up a Loyce soul as well. When the burnt Loyce Knights, they drop their souls, which we need to gather in order for Alsana to give us the Loyce Knight set as well as her soul eventually. But, And after that, we went back up to the cathedral, talked with Alsana. She gave us her backstory. checked with Ornifex and Stray to see what we can get from the Ivory King Soul, which is just his sword. I think it's a pretty good sword, but I think I need more strength in order to actually use it. I think I need to like 35 strength to use it properly, so I'm not nowhere near enough. So, and came back here to Majula, check to see if we can get the Ivory King's armor set, which I don't think we can get just yet. I think we need to get Alsana's soul first. I think at that point his armor set becomes available to us. In order to get to Alsana's soul, we need 50 Loyce souls. Yep. So we're gonna have to go back into the old chaos and farm those burnt Loyce knights. Yep. Alright. And I think that was it. Yep, that was it. We finished up most of the Ivory King DLC. And all that's left to do is the Frigid Outskirts. Ugh. Yeah, that area sucks. So, but I'm gonna have to do it. Because there are items there we want. There is a boss at the end that we're gonna have to fight. Yeah, but I'm not looking forward to it. We are gonna die a lot. But hopefully we can get through it once. But we'll see. We'll see. Yep. Then after that is the end. Yep. I plan to do the Frigid Outskirts next episode. Then after that, we'll talk with Vendrick, and then we'll go fight Nishandra. Then Aldia. Final cutscene, credits. Bam. New game done. Yep. So it should only be 2 more episodes after this until New Game Plus. I will do a playthrough New Game Plus because there are changes, at least the base game. I don't think the DLCs have any changes in New Game Plus, but I'll check to make sure. But I'm pretty sure there's no change for them. So I will finish up the base game or New Game here. I will do New Game Plus because again there are changes that are made. So. But it's going to be a little bit before I actually do that because there's a lot of setup I want to do before we go New Game Plus. So there might be a delay, or well, there might be a big time before starting New Game Plus. But I'll see how long it takes for us to get the setup done. But anyway, that's for later. Next episode, Frigid Outskirts. No thank you. But again, that is for another episode, and I thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.